What's up, my Essential Units? It's Essential Man here. So this is my review of Raw is War for the 21st of July, 1997. So this Raw is back in Canada, in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Before we get to this episode of Monday Night Raw, I'm going to talk about my last Raw review for the 14th of July, 1997. In the tag team match, it was the Headbangers versus two members of Los Boricuas. I said Miguel and Perez, but actually it's Miguel and Jose, because it's not my fault because I didn't remember their names. The Los Boricuas are very forgettable factions in not just in WWE history, but probably in professional wrestling history. And also, I forgot to mention about Psycho Sid. They did mention Sid in this show. He made his final appearance on that Raw from the 14th of July, confronting the Hart Foundation. And yeah, it was his last appearance in the company for 15 years because he had a run in ECW, then WCW, become their world champion. It was on two separate occasions before his career kind of ended in an anticlimactic way because he broke his leg in that Sin pay-per-view from 2001. Yeah, he came back in 2012 in the storyline between Heath Slater and the Legends. He squashed Heath Slater in a match on Raw in 2012. Yeah, you never seen Psycho Sid ever since. I think he's officially done with professional wrestling. You probably have a rare appearance on an indie show, but anyway, so let's talk about this episode of Monday Night Raw. So the show kicked off with the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, taking on Vader with Paul Bearer in his corner. They brought their match at Cold Day in Hell. That was boring, that match. Go and check out my review of In Your House, Cold Day in Hell. I talked about Ken Shamrock's match against Vader. I think that was his first pay-per-view match in the company. It was boring, people praised it. I don't know why people praised it. I think it was a shit match. This match was a bit better, but I'm not going to say this is going to be a 4-star classic. It was a good match. Yeah, Bearer got involved. He hit Shamrock with the shoe. And I think one more of the match you had Shamrock locked Vader in I think it was a knee bar or some. I think it was a knee bar. I think Bearer kind of raked Shamrock I think he pulled him on the ropes, kind of like, I don't know what he did. He got involved. Yeah, he had Shamrock Dex Paul Bearer, and the British Bulldog got involved because he's facing Shamrock for the European Championship. And also before we get to Vader won this match. We'll get to that shortly. Before the start of this match, Shamrock said, he cut a promo, says, he put over Vader like, you're the toughest fighter I fought. I beat you once, I could beat you again. It puts me in the zone against the British Bulldog at SummerSlam. It's knuckle for me and chow time for you. He's holding a can of pedigree dog food. Because if Bulldog lose the European Championship, he must eat a can of dog food. I'll get to my review of SummerSlam 1997 next time. Actually, I have to review the Go Home show, then review the pay-per-view itself. So yeah, and by the way, Vader won this match via a count out. Yeah, the Bulldog, he got cheered because this is Bizarro World, by the way. It's in Canada. If it's in America, probably booed. But anyway, Shamrock losing it, that was a bit disappointed. Just disappointed. I'm not saying he's doing anything. Yeah, they give him some this undefeated streak, and then it kind of ended in an not anticlimactic way, but losing it to a count out. I get it's Vader, but if it was Vader pins Shamrock, that'd be okay. But a count out finish? Come on now. So anyway, and then we got the video package of Baracus. Never heard of him. He just speaking his promo in German. He's this big, muscular dude because Vince has a boner of guys with big muscles like John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Triple H, Batista. uh, uh, Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns. Sorry, big cough here. uh, forgot. Uh, Mason Ryan. Actually, yeah, he has Lex Luger. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough, man. Anyway, and then we got we got the Heart Foundation coming out. You know, you got three members of the Heart Foundation. No, so yeah, three. That was maybe four. I can't remember. Remember, yeah, I think it was Brett, Bulldog, Owen, maybe Neidhart. I can't really remember. And yeah, Finn's interviewing three members of the Heart Foundation. Brett says, he's back on God's country, referring to Canada. And he said, like, he had a nightmare because he was in San Antonio, referring to last week's Raw from 1997. He kind of, like, basically, once again, trashing America. He's not, he's not really to literally do that because, you got some Canadians, or not some Canadians, some Americans liking Bret Hart, he's just putting on a character. But anyway, so he said like he was living a nightmare because he was at San Antonio, Texas. Yeah, the fans were booing the place of San Antonio, Texas. He said like the size of America looks like a giant toilet bowl. Americans are full of crap. He said like if American wrestlers don't step up the plate, they're just full of crap. He said like The Undertaker, he can't wait until SummerSlam. And also there were a lot of US suck chants because it's in Canada. This is in the middle of the USA Canada. Not a war. It's not like they're warring. It's not South Park. They're in an actual war. But you can tell like it's a war between the US and Canada wrestling fans. You're never gonna get that ever again. They're not actually warring because it's just part of the storyline between, for Bret Hart, he's totally despised in the United States and America, but in Canada, he's more beloved. Anyway, so Bulldog did the same thing, calling out Shamrock, same thing, want to do that match at Nova Scotia. And then for Owen Hart, he basically called Steve Austin, Stone Cold Slime Austin. Instead of, he called him a perfect and a creep. Basically about the way, the stipulation in the Owen Austin match at SummerSlam. If Austin loses, he has to kiss Owen Hart's ass. I think he said about he wants to kiss my butt, and also say he can suck my toes. And and then you got Austin coming out, says said about like this place is a living hell. I'm gonna shove your toes down, down their asses. He said he's gonna compete in the flag match, and so moving on to the next match. So I wrote down the next match. So the next match, we got Brian Christopher, the late son of Jerry the King Lawler, taking on Brian Walsh. Brian Walsh, he was waving Canadian flags, but when he announced he's now living in, was it Rhode Island, the fans boo him. And I think they're booing, I think they boo less with Brian Christopher. Like I said, this show is Bizarro World. The match sucked. I didn't really give a fuck about this match. Like, during this match, you had basically Brian Christopher basically grabbing, like, I think he had, like, the tiny Canadian flag in his mouth. He rubbed it in the face of Brian Walsh, trying to keep it short and simple. In the end, Brian Christopher hit Brian Walsh with the leg drop, and that was it. So, yeah, I don't get this whole I don't really call it push. They're giving Brian Christopher a winning streak. He's not really getting over at the time. He got over when he was part of Too Cool in the Attitude Era, but back then he was not really got over. It's funny. He's got that same Jerry the King Lawler's laugh. He does that laugh, and Jim Ross keeps bringing up like they're trying to make out Brian. Everyone knows like Brian Christopher is the son of Jerry the King Lawler. They're trying to make it out. Oh, he's Lawler says he's not my son, so. But anyway, so let's move on to the next match. Oh, actually, there was one segment says like, yeah, the Truth Commission's coming to Raw. No one gives a fuck. Yeah, they showed them on fucking Shotgun Saturday Night. I don't get that, man. Shotgun Saturday Night. It looks cool, but it's I'm guessing it's their answer to WCW's Saturday Night Main Event. You got 3 members of the Truth Commission confirmed. You got Kurgan, you got Bull Buchanan, who will be part of the he was Big Boss Man's lackey. He was part of the I think he was part of the Right to Censor group, and also he became John Cena's bodyguard when he was doing the whole rapping gimmick. I think he had Don Callis in that group. He ended up becoming Cyrus the Virus in ECW, and then Don Callis. But yeah, you got the Commandant says the truth will hurt. We're gonna put harsh on the on your favorite superstars. Yeah, it's this typical South African group. I don't think it got over, man. Like it's just like Jesus Christ, faction warfare, folks. Faction warfare. That's expiring what AEW is doing right now with a lot of factions. Because you got right now you got the Heart Foundation, you got the Nation of Domination, you got DOA, you got Los Boricuas, the True Commission, and then in the autumn you had D-Generation X. Jesus Christ, it's just what it is. So moving on to, I'm gonna talk about briefly. They're bringing up Dude Love's debuted, and some of the clips are from when JR interviewing Mankind. I don't want to get into it, and yeah, they just bring up like the clips from the Jim Ross Mankind interviewed. It's now narrated by Vince McMahon. Said about like it brings out like Jack Foley's career ended in like tragedy, not tragedy, but in failure. He brings up Cactus Jack. He had was it Mudcom? He had some success, but at a price. Disfigurement brings up Mankind. And then he brings up like Dude Loves Mankind storyline with Steve Austin. He wants to be Austin's tag team partner. You got Stone Cold Stunner. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Austin says like DTA, don't trust anyone. That's Austin's like one of his catchphrases. Brings up the tag team title match from the previous week, and Austin kind of praised Mick Foley, Dude Love. He said like, I don't know who's crazy. I don't know if he's got a lot of guts. He said like he still got the job done. He said I still don't want a tag team partner. That was a pre-record interview. So moving on to the next match. I think it was a triple threat match. Yeah, this is a triple threat tag team match. Winner phase, Austin and Dude Love for the tag team titles. We got the Godwins, Henry and Phileas Godwin. Phileas Godwin is the featured Midian. Before that, you had I think they announced on the show that Los Boricuas will face DOA in a tag team match at SummerSlam. We'll get to like I said, we'll get to SummerSlam '97. Have announced I'm gonna change things around. I should have done it. It should be on a traditional weekend on a Sunday, but for one time only, it'll be on a Wednesday. And and this weekend I'll review WCW Bash the Beach 1998. It won by, spoiler alert, it won the poll, so it's for one time off. So anyway, so you had basically you had the Road Warriors kind of a pre-match, not pre-match because they're not wrestling on the show, but this pre-interview about their feud with the Godwins. Said about Hawk is fucking terrible. He's not really a good talker. He said about like being slop dropped. We broke your neck once by mistake. Next time it won't be an accident. And I think Animal says, I think they said looking forward to beating you at SummerSlam. Trying to keep it short and simple. This brief interview, so like you can hit many, instead of trying to take out my partner out of pro wrestling, but hitting hitting multiple. You can hit many hitting with buckets and many chairs. I'm gonna move. I'm moving on. It's not that. The Road Warriors for me, they're not really good talkers. They're not really good. They're good. They are over, but they're not really that great. As they're not really good talkers, man. I mean, because I don't know what Paul Aaron. They should have brought Paul Aaron, man. I don't know, man. It's just they're not really that great. They're not known for their promos. So anyway, let's talk about this is a triple threat tag team match. Winner face Austin, Austin and Dude Lord for the tag team titles. We got the Godwins, Phineas and Henry Godwin, or Henry O Godwin. Head banners, that's Marsh and Thrasher, and the new Blackjacks, that's Wyndham. I think that's Barry Windham and Bradshaw. Bradshaw's the future JBL, by the way. And this was a clusterfuck. Cluster fucking fuck. No one gets a crap. This was, it was 3 guys in the ring, but it was, like I said, clusterfuck. In the end, the Godwins got the victory, and that was it. The Godwins not really over, man. The new Blackjacks. Every time they, in the history of professional wrestling, doing like a new something, it ends in disaster. I think with the head banners, you can say they're kind of over, but that's not saying too much. The tag team division in the WWF at the time was a bit of a joke. In WCW, they got an established tag team. You got the Steiners, you got Holland Heat, and you got the Outsiders. It's night and day, and then years later, the roles reversed. The WWF had a good established tag team division. WCW were not. Anyway, so moving on to this is one of the highlights of the night. We got HBK. Jim Ross interviewing HBK. That's Shawn Michaels. Who made his return in his hometown of San Antonio, Texas. And he got booed. He got that pop in his hometown, but this is in Canada. He got booed. I like Shawn. He's basically playing up the whole Bizarro World situation that he's getting booed by Canadians. He said about he can free. It's something about freed, because Canada's free. Free healthcare. Blah blah blah. He said we can or freed. I think he said freed the something about freed the transvestites, freed the heterosexuals, and he said I had a memory of Canada because my parents give me little Christmas ornaments, and he said about you know all this. I'm trying to remember the problem of it actually. He said all this about keeping the US from sinking because Canada sucks it, and you got the Shawn the Canadian fans calling Shawn a faggot. You're not gonna hear that, or fans calling a wrestler a faggot in any show, whether it's indies or in a mainstream wrestling company. We're in the LGBT era, because I think some people say Shawn is not really gay. I think maybe his gimmick, he's more heterosexual. He's like the ladies' boy, he's the ladies' man. Shawn Michaels, doing the flexing, got earrings in his ear. The tattoos, and the fans calling Shawn, basically the fans calling Shawn a faggot, the Golders got I think the Freebirds were called faggots in a WCW show, and what's his name, Freebirds, Billy Gunn, it's that was back then, right now you can't really say that, But anyway, so let's get back to it. So get back to the promo. So and also Shawn was carrying these small Canadian flags, waving it. He announced that he's going to be the special guest referee for the Bret Hart Undertaker match, and he said he announced that he's going to be in the flag match. He said guess who's number 2. And anyway, so he said if he's not calling down in the middle, he'll never also not wrestle in the United States in America ever again, because Bret said if he fails to win the title, he will never wrestle in America again. Shawn says he will do the same thing. He said he's gonna live in Canada for the rest of my life, becoming next door neighbors to Bret Hart, something like that. He said like he said towards Brett, you know, if you can't trust the Heartbreak Kid, who else you can trust? And that was it. So anyway, that was a good promo. He's playing up to the crowd. You know, yeah, he got the faggot chance. You know, it was the times. I get it. You're not gonna see fans shouting faggot ever again. With it's just what it is. You know, over the years, Goldust getting. Did I mention Goldust? Yeah, Goldust also getting like the faggot chance. You know, when he was doing the gay gimmicks. You know, that was back in the 90s. You will never see them like people doing these type of storylines or fans sharing faggots ever again. It's just never going to happen. I don't want to get into it. So anyway, so moving on to yeah, let's move on to the next match. So the next match we got Hunter Hearst Helmsley taking on the Patriot. This is technically, I think this is the Patriot's first match in the company. I think the Patriot's real name is Dale Wilkes. He said about like the people kind of deserves a better role model than the Hart Foundation. Anyway, he came out with very genetic music. He ended up coming out with soon-to-be Kurt Angle's theme music. He's waving the American flag, got a big boo. The fans were cheering for Hunter Hearst Helmsley. This match is likely be filler, but it was not about the match, So, and then you got Bret Hart and the Hart Foundation. You can see the screen right now. Bret Hart confronting Vince McMahon. He said about like he was pissed off about Shawn Michaels refereeing the main event. I think he said you're full of crap. You can't really hear him. It was a large crowd. He basically knocked the headphones right off his head of Vince McMahon, and and Bret and Vince kind of pull each other. Bret grabbed Vince by his Raw jacket, and Vince grabbed Bret by his white T-shirts. Everyone knows back then Vince is the owner. But in our current timeline right now, he's not really the owner. He's gone. He's retired. Triple H is now running the company. Back then, I think everyone knows Vince is the owner, but he was the announcer. He was the commentator. He'll become Vince. I feel like he'll become the heel authority figure in late 1997 and beyond. But Bret, Bret and Vince had a fight, a hockey. I read something. Read on a forum says they had like a hockey fight. Not really. They just pull each other by their clothing. Then the Patriot trying to break up the fight. He got beaten down by the Hart Foundation, and I'm guessing the match ended disqualification. If they did not have that fight, I think it'll be a clusterfuck because the Patriot was not really getting over. It's really sad because I think he died last year. But, it didn't really do anything. I think it was completely filler. So, moving on to the next, next segment. Yeah, Paul Bearer, showing proof that Kane is alive. And Jim Ross is just basically, challenging Paul Bearer that Kane is not alive. Bearer says about Undertaker and Kane had like a shared bond, they share like a piece of a statue, and Bearer showed the statue, which chalk because, because Undertaker burned the funeral home, and proof that Kane is alive. I think he kind of challenged Jim Ross, he said Kane will come, blah blah blah. I try to keep it short and simple, so it was okay. Because Kane did show up at Bad Blood, by the way. Okay, the next match we got Farouk, leader of the Nation of Domination. I think with Karma. I think he had Karma and D'Lo Brown. I'm not too sure. Taking on Goldust with Marlena. Yeah, there's a pre-match interview. You had like basically said to Marlena, can one of your dresses fit with Brian Pillman? Marlena says he cannot fill out his tights, because Marlena is a small woman, it will not fit with Brian Pillman because the stipulation in Goldust and Pillman's match at SummerSlam, I think if Pillman loses this match, he will wear a dress, he wants to wear Marlena's dress, but she's a small woman, he's not really a big man, he's about probably 6 feet tall, he will not fit it, But anyway, the matches, and speaking of won't fill out, this is a filler match, by the way. Pillman did not show up. He didn't show up. The match ended in disqualification, and and you had the members of the nation that beat down Goldust. Yeah, they lost some momentum because at this moment in time, because Ahmed Johnson got hurt. Yeah, they end up bringing The Rock in. I think it lost a little bit of momentum. They lost a bit of momentum because, like, I think Ahmed Johnson's injury really hurt its momentum. And then afterwards, I think there were the original plans having the nation being like feuding with the DOA and Los Boricuas, but with Ahmed Johnson's injury, they totally kibotched the storyline, changed it in a different direction. So yeah, it lost its. I think it was a bit of a lost cause. So yeah, it'd be better if have Pillman basically interfered, cost Goldust the match. It just bit more attention going into their match at SummerSlam. Okay, and then this and also during this match between Goldust and Farouk, Vince McMahon came out, and this is the signs that Vince is. You can tell like he wants to get away from the commentary arena, become a character who's not really a character yet. Basically, Sean got beaten down by the Hart Foundation off screen. Sean refused to get medical treatment. He kind of pushed Vince, says, "Are you running it goddamn soon? I'm not putting out not putting out this crap." Yeah, he said a zoo. I don't know what he meant, but it's confirmed that Sean is not going to compete in the main event. And speaking of the main event, we got a six-man flag match, six-man tag team flag match. We got we got the Hart Foundation represent Canada. That is Bret Hart, Owen Hart, and the British Bulldog, taking on three members representing the United States of America. That is Stone Cold Steve Austin, Dude Love, and The Undertaker. We haven't saw The Undertaker since Canadian Stampede. So, before the start of this match, Undertaker appeared midway in this match. So before the start of the match, you had the Hart Foundation, basically, I think it was Bulldog carrying the sign with the Hart Foundation, all five members of the Hart Foundation pissing on the American flag. You'll never see this ever again in every wrestling company. Like shitting on another nation. Yeah, WWE did it like years ago with Rusev. With Big Show pulling the Russian flag. That really pissed off the people of Russia. Yeah, you're never gonna see this type of stuff ever again. Just what it is. So, anyway, they just came out, introduced and played the Canadian national anthem. Bret, Owen, and the fans sing the Canadian national anthem. The only person never didn't sing the anthem is Bulldog because he's not really from Canada. He's from the United Kingdom, by the way. Anyway, the match was good. But the one nitpick about it, it was in a normal tag team form. It'd be better off, it'd flow better if they just did like a tornado tag team style. And it was a pole match, because at the time Vince Russo was the head writer of the company. The match was fine, it was good for what it is. In the end, Bret was going for the Canadian flag, The Undertaker was trying to get the American flag. I think you had Neidhart and Pillman trying to stop The Undertaker for reaching the American flag. Bret got the Canadian flag first. After distraction by the Hart Foundation, the Hart Foundation got the victory, and that was it. You imagine like the heel, Austin, Taker, and Dude Love won this match. They'll probably throw crap in the ring, but it's just a way to get the fans go home happy because they represent Canada. They were a big deal in Canada. Bret. I said in my review of SummerSlam 1992, Bret, Bulldog, they're not really super over in America. I think they got super over around the world, including Canada, including the United Kingdom, and other places. It's just what it is. Bret Hart is technically an international star, but anyway, so since Undertaker, he beat Undertaker in a non-title match. It's building up. Giving Bret Hart an advantage against the Undertaker at SummerSlam. So anyway, I give it like a 7. I don't really give it an 8. I think the match. I think the show in the Raw in Edmonton was a bit better. That's my opinion, but it was still a good show. I like the opener. I like the main event. And I like Sean's promo. Besides that, the two matches in the bad for me were the two Bryan's matches: Brian Walsh versus Brian Christopher, filler. Goldust versus Farouk, that was also filler. So yeah, and I don't really put the Finn's fighting Brett. It was just whatever. Yeah, besides that, if they did that match, I think the Patriot Helmsley match would be filler. So yeah, it was not a great show, but it was a good show. So anyway, so I hope you enjoyed my review of Monday Night Raw for the 21st of July, 1997. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button, click the like, click the bell, subscribe to the channel, be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. And yeah, we'll be back for my review of the Go Home Show to SummerSlam 1997. So this is Essential Man officially signing out. Check you later, folks.